Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the Jackson Galaxy video blog. Today is another unedited one-wheel adventure. It is the first video I've posted since February 2nd, a day which just randomly in the middle of the dead of winter was really nice. This is basically the first time I've left my house since then. Let's see how the world is doing. Oh no, oh no. Dang it. If my regular life wasn't just quarantine, it'd probably be a lot bigger impact on me, but everybody here is doing well. Nobody's going too stir crazy. I don't even notice, there's a handful of us out there that are our normal daily lives and routines are quarantined. Look how long my hair is getting. Remember like a year ago when I was actually completely bald, like shaven? My hair grows so fast. Anyway, we're out with Colette, and I'm just gonna cruise around for a while, try and get my sea legs under me a little bit. Oh yeah, waiting to do this for 2 months. It's nice to see everybody else out but separated. Not a lot of people out, but some people walking along the trail. There's some people walking over here. There's me one-wheeling around. It's classic delirium. The sun and bright blue sky. Freaking lovely. A little bit of a breeze, but it's not a cold breeze. It's like the first time that I've been out and it's not like a cold breeze. The wind going past is a little bit cool, which is a little bit nice. And that's exactly the kind of thing we're looking for. Hello. Hello. How's it going? There's some skater kids back there waiting for me to get out of the way. I'm in a tunnel, this is a tunnel song, singing about being in a tunnel. It's a very short tunnel. Oh boy. Man, there's lots of people out today. It's quite nice. It's maintained 6 feet here. Lots of little kids out learning to ride bicycles. Buy him one of these, put a helmet on him. I really enjoy not wearing a helmet, but it's such a dumb thing to do. Well, man, that kid is 1,000 times cooler than me. He's got big old aviators on, a big black hoodie. I was like, hello, and he just goes, hello. He's like 10. Like that kid's going places. So I'm gonna try and stay inside the more like towny bits instead of going over by the like body of water that I usually go over by, just to help cut down on wind, because it is a teeny bit breezy. And one-wheeling in the wind is really hard, but it's also really hard to get even decent quality audio out of my Samsung devices. I hold my phone like this, with the rest of the phone like sticking out this way to like just basically cover the microphone with my hand like as I hold it. So like I'm just doing this, but just on like the far edge of the phone, just to try and block some of the wind from going directly into the microphone. I need to try that trick that I saw Casey do. Casey Neistat had a little thing where he like just cut like a little felt thing and just put it over the microphone to help, block the wind. I need to try that on this and see if it actually works. I don't really know where I'm going, I'm just going, but now there's people and I don't want to disturb their delightful family walk, so I'm just going to cut across the street here. Boy, there is nothing quite like a one wheel. Ah, it's the best. Oh, listen to those birds, man. When was the last time I heard birds chirping? Probably in my last video, but that was like 2 months ago. It's all of February, all of March, and then a little bit into April by like a day or two. You know, I do actually record videos, so to me it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but they're mostly like private videos, or videos that I leave unlisted. Usually things about video games, or videos to specific people, like in the like an open letter format. So, like, for example, Warframe by Digital Extremes, one of my all-time favorite games, easily my favorite game for the last like 7 years, basically. It's just really fun and enjoyable, and everybody that works on it's like really cool, and it's not, you know, owned by EA or Blizzard, one of these giant companies that seem to just be using up all of their goodwill to try and make a buck in like the crappiest way possible. Like, none of that. And that guy's cruising. I think he was locked in with the little foot clips on that bike. Yeah, Warframe is just a friggin' lovely, like, wonderfully good time. Hello. And like, so, sorry, I was getting distracted in my own head. So, talking about, like, you know, they'll have a new update, or they'll ask the community for like some feedback on like helping design a new like character to play or something. And a lot of the time, like, I don't necessarily like care that like they hear my opinion or whatever. Like, if I was really, I'm gonna slow down a little bit, the wind is picking up. If I was really just like gung-ho about it, like, I would be on their forums all the time and like really trying to get my opinion out there. But to me, it's like, I hope they see it and I hope it helps, but like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to like make like a big forum post or something. And I have done that a couple times, and like, it always just like goes badly, right? Like, everybody in all the comments is always arguing like just dumb things that aren't even related to like what you're trying to convey, and that kind of stuff. So like, what I'll do is I'll just whip out my camera like this. Sometimes I'll write little bullet pointed lists and notes and stuff, and then I'll make like a video talking about, you know, how I feel about their update, or like where the game is headed, or like where it is currently, and like, and then I'll just tweet it at whoever, right? So like lead game designer Steve Sinclair, like, I follow him on Twitter and like watch his streams on Twitch and stuff, and like, it seems like such a cool dude. I'd like love to work with him, you know, but I'd have to get a work visa, and then like move to Canada, and it's like, I already live somewhere that's too cold for me. I don't know if you've noticed, but all the people we pass have like short sleeves on, and I'm in a hoodie. Right. So like, this is still pretty good for me. And it's like, you know, technically lovely outside. Did that guy say dude as I passed him? Oh wow, look at this cute little pup. Right there. Hi, doggy. You couldn't see him from the side, but that was like, he has like a beautiful coat. It looks really freaking good. It's been a long time since I've had my hair in my mouth. Almost like a year. So yeah, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just want like talking about Warframe. It's a really fun game. So I've been playing lots of Warframe, lots of Black Desert Online, and so has everyone else in the world. I have noticed, like, when all the place, self-isolation, all that kind of stuff. Like, just the general level and quality of the internet just plummets as everybody's at home watching Netflix. Everything just disconnects frequently, or just get really slow speeds for no reason when it normally wouldn't. There's more people online at like 4 in the morning when I'm up and online. It's like, the whole world is kind of being forced to live like me right now. Therefore, all the things that I normally do that aren't congested at all are suddenly congested. This feels weird. Oh man. Come on, you see all this stuff? Sidewalk chalk? Hold on, let's go back and take a look at these. I'm gonna have a hard time turning around. Hold on. Still can't turn completely 180. I'm not a trickster. I just like cruising, floating around. Having a good time, having a good time. Okay, here we go. All these like Disney characters and stuff. Hakuna Matata. Go live your dream. I have no idea if you can see that or not, but that's a nice little pleasant little thing to just zip over on our way to nowhere in particular. How's the wind? My hand is in a totally different place to hold the thing. He asked as though he were live streaming, even though he knows he probably will forget to upload this for like 3 or 4 days like he does all the time. That's me I'm talking about. I think about restarting my stream all the time, especially now, like everybody's home, everybody's watching stuff. It seems like the perfect time, except everybody else has also had that thought, so then now there's like freaking more competition than ever. And I don't want to have to put in $1 bajillion into advertising to have a thing that just doesn't like freaking end up going anywhere, or just turning into anything that I want it to turn into. I mean, I know you can design a business into whatever form you want it to be designed into, but I'm not worried about that at all. 4-way stop. Nobody's here. Let's go out into the very center of the entire intersection. Woo! Living dangerously. Dangerously. So yeah, riding on the one wheel is the best thing ever. Sunshine. I am basically a complicated house plant, so just water and sunshine is basically all I need in terms of keeping everything else mental state happy. I've been really freaking good considering. Family seems a little bit frazzled and stir crazy, but nobody's caught cabin fever yet, all locked in the house and stuff. I never noticed how much my brother yells. He's a yelly dad. He's not like, I don't know, maybe that's just a family thing. Everybody in my family, actually, now that I think about it, has always been concerned with like how loud and yelling and like scared other people seem to be. That's just how like the men in my family communicate. They're just very like loud, yelling, vocal types, but that's just how they have a conversation. They're not even particularly upset or like concerned with whatever they're talking about. And my brother's kind of turned into that same thing. It's really funny to watch him turn into like the same thing that I would associate with like my grandpa or my dad and his brothers, like my uncles. Now it's like my brother is just one of my uncles again, or like just a new uncle, I guess. So that's always fun. Man, there's a lot of pretty sidewalk art. I wonder if that's like a thing that goes on out here. So, that's the update with me. Just, there's always stuff I could talk about or go into, but I don't know how much anybody even cares about the stuff that I already, talk about. as this is my video blog that's just, my video journal. I've been on YouTube for since 2006. I've been using it actively since 2005 or whatever. Like, when was it first even implemented and exists or whatever? Gonna wait for this truck. Seems like a lot of Colorado Springs is still out working. It's a concrete mixer going somewhere with the actual mixing, like, drum still spinning. So it's full of stuff. As far as I understand how those work. Never driven one. What is this? This is supposed to be underneath this part. Yeah. Get out of here. You stringy looking. I'm trying to attract a mate here. That's what YouTube's all about, isn't it? Hey. My 7-year-old niece is constantly badgering me about, like, what do you do for a job? How come you don't have a job? How come you're not married? How come you don't have a girlfriend? You should go on dates more. You should get out of the house more. You should go do all this stuff. And I'm like, well, recently I've been like, well, there's a quarantine, so I'm not going to do any of that stuff. Also, I wouldn't do any of that stuff anyway because I don't care. That's not what I'm, like, it's not what I'm doing right now. Right now, I'm just enjoying being young enough to enjoy being young. That's a very eloquent way to put it, and I just thought of it just now, so I'm, like, really proud of myself. I'm also very full of nachos. That was my lunch. I maybe ate a bit too much. Ugh. Nachos. It's freaking delicious. Yeah, so I don't know, what should I freaking talk about? Like, should I talk about the deep philosophies of things that don't matter? Does that sound fun? I don't know. I just like to, like, freaking, so YouTube is like a whole thing now, right? Like, and it's gone and come back and it's had generations of, like, whatever we're on now, like 12th generation YouTubers. That is to say, like, the people, like the waves that kind of come and go. It's like reaction videos and then gaming videos and then, like comedy sketches and animation and all that kind of stuff. So, like, I don't know, there's just, like, me doing this video blog is more about just me doing the video blog than me actually, like, being a YouTuber anymore. Like, there's still definitely some people that I like and I consider, like, that I consider, like, classics. Like, Philip DeFranco's still around and Jags Films is still around, and, like, Rhett and Link, like, ended up buying Smosh, but there was a time where, like, Smosh was the biggest thing on YouTube and Rhett and Link were practically unheard of. And, like, just watching all the evolution of that kind of stuff. It's like, I've always kind of felt like I was a part of it, but in the last several years I haven't, like, I'm not a part of it anymore. Like, I don't consider myself a YouTuber, even though I've been on YouTube for longer than almost every other person who's been on YouTube or is currently on YouTube. So, like, I guess that's just the way things go sometimes, right? So, like, I was part of it in the very, very beginnings, and, like, way back before it was like a job. Like, I was on it for 2 years before Google bought it and anybody was able to make any ad revenue or make any money on it. And that was 2008. So, 12 years ago. Like, that's practically ancient history now. And, like, I tried to be a Twitch personality, and, like, I think I could do that. Like, pretty well. It's just super hard to build an audience when you don't have a consistent schedule, And just looking at the thing that is somewhat consistent for me, this YouTube channel, uploading once every 2 months about rambly nonsense just about your day to basically keep in touch with your family and friends. Like, how do you turn that into anything other than just doing it for fun? But the thing is, like, like, you go through points where it isn't fun, and then if you keep going, like, it comes back around and is a point to where it's fun again. There's a lot of really loud construction trucks that going on. And that's kind of where I'm at now, is like, I don't think about YouTube or making a video or editing the videos anymore. And like, I talk about it in every video I make because that's just like the self-referential point, right? Like, I don't think about YouTube, I don't think about making YouTube videos or editing the videos until I'm making one, and then that's like all I'm thinking about. And then all I can do, like all of my commentary, is just me commenting on the fact that it's like, I'm an old YouTuber who was like washed up in 2007, like it was, you know, the peak time. Like in those years there were like days where I was some of the most watched, if not the most watched, like, you know, people on YouTube. And it's like just an interesting thing to think about. Not only interesting in that kind of way, but interesting in the fact that, like, now that I'm thinking about it again, like, that the fact that I am thinking about it again is the interesting part. It's very hard to stand perfectly still on this thing, but that's how it goes sometimes. Now we have to wait for the light to change. My leg is cramping, but it's not that bad. Alright, let's get out of here. So, filming a YouTube video like this is like fun again. Like, and there's something to that just by itself, right? Like, hey, I'm having a good time, I hope you're having a good time. If you're not, you probably clicked away long before you hit the 22-minute mark. If you're just watching for the sake of, you know, listening on like another tab while you're working or from home or whatever, I hope that's a good thing too. Actually, now that I say all that stuff, I had a great idea for a video that I might actually do. So, I don't know if anybody watching this is familiar, or if you just stumble upon it somewhere in the deep recesses of the YouTube algorithm. Do you know what ASMR is? It stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, which doesn't mean anything because it was written by a blogger who like didn't understand what the words meant. But it's the sensation of sound or visual like cues, frequently called triggers, that cause like a cascade of like skin tingly sensations, or like goosebumps, or just like a almost like a sneeze type of sensation where it's like a tension buildup and then a release, but like in your like dermal layers, like in your skin and across your body and stuff. Frequently it's like found in the scalp, the head region, that kind of thing. And there's a bajillion videos. That's like a whole category of YouTube now, is ASMR YouTube videos. Frequently like videos put together by women who seem to be subtly competing to be the most attractive person in the world. And they're succeeding wildly. Almost all of them. And then some of them aren't doing that. But so I was thinking I might, because I freaking love that kind of stuff. I was thinking that might be like a really solid video for me to do right now. Is I had like, I've wanted to do stuff like that for a long time because I know how to do it. And it's also something within my realm. It's also new and fresh, and it's like got some interesting like ideas and stuff behind it. Make sure that my feet are on the sensor pads. Come on. Get it behind my ear. My hair and my mouth. I messed up my helmet. So I was thinking I would do a video like that. That's like, it would probably come off as somewhat creepy to someone who's not familiar with like the layout and format of the video. But I wanted to do just like a almost like video version of like waking up in bed next to somebody that you care about. So it's like almost like an intimacy simulator. There's a little of that in like the ASMR community already. Hold on, I gotta drop off a ledge. There's a little bit of that inside the ASMR community already, but I just thought it would, like, there's got to be people out there who are isolated, who just want a video of them, just something to watch, like when you're laying in bed, that like the camera is oriented like sideways. So like the phone, you know, I'd be recording like, you know, horizontally, but I'd be laying down, so it would be like in this kind of a dimension. And then just like saying nice stuff, right? A little whispery stuff, a little mic scratching, you know, some of the sound stuff, just being like quiet and pleasant for people who are stuck at home right now, or people, you know, who would otherwise be looking for that kind of thing. And that seems like such a good thing to make, and I probably won't ever make it. But I thought about it, and that doesn't count for balls. Ideas are not worth anything. The only thing that an idea is worth is how well it's executed. Also, I just realized there's no way for me to get up onto the sidewalk from here, so I'm just gonna step off of the one wheel. And put it on the sidewalk. I haven't gotten any shots of the actual one wheel. Let's do that a little bit while I'm cruising on. Reset my feet a bit. It glides buttery smooth over any surface, anywhere you want to go. Light through, there's no traffic, I'm going. I'm on the sidewalk, it's fine. Ugh. So there's nobody here, so I waited for all the cars. I am a responsible one-wheelist. What do you call one-wheelers? One-wheelers? Float enthusiasts? Floater I don't know. I was gonna say like floatre dame, something. But then dame, that's not a term people use anymore. My grandfather, grandpa, once made it like a sexist joke and thought it was really funny, and he was kind of expecting it to be like, this is my mom's dad, for anybody wondering. He made this sexist joke and was thinking that like the inappropriateness of it would make me laugh or whatever, but I didn't get it because it was kind of an older term or whatever. It was really freaking funny that I found, I didn't understand it, and then like years later, and it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything that you would even notice, but so when I was in school, I do a lot of track and field, because my parents basically forced me to always do some sort of sporting activity, while no matter what, it was always 100% against my own will. But so I ended up doing a lot of track and field, and was always really good at anything that I did, much to the chagrin of my parents being like, "You're really good at this, you should just keep doing this and stick to it, and it'll be a good thing to do." Hello. So that dude just gave me a thumbs up. What a cool dude. So anything that they put me in and I excelled at, and then I would just like cry and whine and I hated doing it, and then I would just not do it anymore. And then, they switch to the next thing. So I ended up doing long jump quite a lot. I turned down this road to avoid the traffic that was all going on the main street. And there's more traffic now than there has been throughout the entire rest of that whole thing. So anyway, I was in track and field quite a lot. I ended up doing long jump and like hurdles and sprints, just lots of other dumb stuff. Did like high jump and crap like that. But yeah, so I did a lot of long jump, which I didn't know at the time used to be called the broad jump, which you may have already determined the punchline to my grandfather's sexist joke that was just, yeah, are you gonna line them up and jump over them? Something like that. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, as a little kid who had never heard that term because it was outdated 50 years before I was born. It's like, yeah, dang broads. Hey, you gonna line them up and jump over them? Anyway. It was a good story. Good thing. Because then, like, years later, I was like, that's what he meant. He meant, like, the broad jump. Ha! What a stupid joke. He was a really funny dude. I miss him a lot. Well, it's been 30 minutes. Whoa. I'm not really going anywhere in particular. Like I said, I've just been looping around. Going to one place, going back to another place. I should probably go back in before I get sunburned. I always get sunburned the first time I go out, like doing anything anywhere, plus my arm. Like, I'm literally holding up my elbow with this hand. Like, this is the position I've been in for a while, like, because my arm is, my shoulder is just falling asleep at this point from holding my phone up in front of my face. I need to buy an Instant 360 and like a selfie stick. Do it like all the other one-wheeler YouTube people. Although my videos aren't actually about one-wheel, I just enjoy one-wheeling, and then I always think, oh, I should make a video, because now it's like, that's what I do, because that's what I have done, so that's like how my brain is just wired, like, that's a nice day, I should go one-wheel. Oh, it's also a nice day, I should make a video on the one-wheel, because that's what I do now, apparently. So, in case you've made it this far into the video, or you're just listening or whatever, I actually haven't talked about the one wheel itself in hardly any capacity. So I will say this: if you can afford it, and the money that you would spend on the thing would not be needed for something dramatically more important, healthcare, food, taking care of loved ones or family or kids or whatever, it's pretty much the first thing on your list of things that you should buy. Like, it does take a little while to kind of get used to how it like controls, and it is dangerous, like legitimately, which is why I wear the helmet. Sometimes I even wear like little wrist guards and stuff if I think I'm just gonna like go cruise somewhere for a while. But it's the coolest thing that I own. Mine was in its current configuration. You can buy it for less than I bought it for. But it was close to like the price of a car. I'm just gonna round up and say it was $2,000. And I've owned it for a couple of years. When did I get it? November? Like October, November, like 2018, I think. So 2018, all of 2019, 2020. It's the coolest thing I have. This is the thing that, like, aside from my computer setup, is kind of the most expensive item that I own. And I don't miss the money at all. this is just how much it costs to have this experience, and that's just how I think of it, right? Like I could get other similarly priced, like, you know, electric unicycles or the electric, like, you know, skateboardy type stuff, or like boosted boards that apparently are like going under, like going out of business because, you know, business. Can't remember his name. Is it Jimmy Chang, I think? Something? Those other YouTube videos. He has like a whole video on it. Sorry, I don't remember your name, dude. But yeah, like, that's just how much it costs to have this experience. And so if you can afford the cost and you enjoy the experience, then that's what it's worth, right? Like, that kind of speaks to a deeper philosophy that I won't really go into directly, but like, in many ways, the health of an economy is based on its circulatory system, aka its currency, right? Any money that like isn't necessary for, like, you know, basic stuff that you need, water comes to mind. And of course you want to have like some sort of buffer zone of finances and that kind of thing, but money is like the circulatory system of the health of an economic system. So like if it clots in one place or collects in pools in one organ versus another, that always just is bad, right? We have 4,000 years of economic history to look back on and say, yeah, every time that happens in any capacity, that's bad. So, you know, an expensive thing that is essentially just a toy, in my mind, is not a bad thing to spend money on, because it's just, you know, what does the money do me if I don't freaking spend it? As long as my needs are met, like, it's healthier for a system of economics to constantly be moving. And that's just like a very generalized, like, sense of the philosophy that I have when it comes to money and spending money. And that, the only reason I tell you that is because this is a one-wheel video. So some of you might be watching it thinking to yourself, I wonder if that thing is actually worth it or not. Whoa, I just ended up at a field. So here I am at the school. I've made it. Did not intend to show up here. Not even entirely sure where I am. Which is one of the biggest benefits to the one wheel. But I've spotted another sidewalk, so I'm going to cruise across this tiny, poorly maintained baseball diamond and see if I can traverse the gravel and then grass and then get back onto the sidewalk. Right? One wheel. If you want that experience, this is the product to buy. The Pint is apparently also very friggin' good. Just with like a little bit less range, and it is physically smaller, hence the name The Pint. It's the pint-sized one wheel. But it's so much less expensive if you don't need to, like, I don't know, cruise around or use it. If you're using it for more like commuting and that kind of stuff,